If you're a creative and you're scared to step on stage or into the studio or pick up your guitar, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Angela Soffe. I'm a songwriter and a composer and a music producer, and I help creatives like you move past your self-doubt and create stuff that you think is awesome. So today we're talking about fear. Fear is a compass pointing at exactly what you want. I'm going to say that again. Fear is a compass that points at what you want. You're afraid of it because part of you knows that if you have it, you will have to change. And we are afraid of change, aren't we? We're afraid that it's going to change us and we don't know how to be anything else. And this is part of our identity shifting that we're not going to go into right now, but I have in other videos. But let me tell you this, if you desire it and it feels aligned to you, that's your signal that it's in your blueprint of something that's meant for you. Fear is an acronym. I'm sure you've heard this before. Fear stands for what? False evidence appearing real. And it shows up at the thresholds of doing something, right? Like when you remember when you were a kid and you were scared to go down the slide. I remember there was this slide. I used to vacation with my family, not vacation, but like summer trips in the United States. I grew up in Asia, but we would come to the US and I would hang out with my cousins in the States. And there was this thing called the Alpine Slide in Utah. If you know this, then you know it's like this really tall slide. And I remember I was afraid of heights. I still kind of am. But we get to the top and there's this cart and you're supposed to get in it and manually do it yourself. And you're just this little kid. And I was so terrified, right? Like just so scared to go down this cart. But as soon as you do, you get to the bottom and you're like, let's do it again, right? So then we go back up and we do it again and again and again. And pretty soon, every summer that we went there, it was fun. Like the fear went away. The fear is at the threshold, like when you're approaching something that's challenging or unknown, right? Because we're worried that there's this thing that might change us, might hurt us. It's the unknown, right? So new identity, right? Plus uncertainty is equals fear. So it's not danger, but it's your nervous system reacting. And we have to recognize that whenever we're attempting to do something creative, whether it is getting on stage or writing that book or whatever it is, you're at the threshold and you're approaching something unknown and new, and it's going to bring up fear, right? And fear is one side of a coin. So on one side is fear, but on the other is excitement. And so often we can look at something and say, this is so terrifying. I'm so scared. But on the other side, right, just like the Alpine slide, you flip it over and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, right? So how do we turn that uncertainty, that fear into excitement on the other side? And think for a moment about things in your life where you have labeled them as maybe fearful, but you can approach it as excitement. And this, I think, applies to so many aspects of our lives, like not just creativity, but even conflict. Within the fear is an opportunity for growth and change. So let's say you have a conflict with someone or you run into something at work that's challenging and you're afraid. There's potential, there's so much hope in that fear, right? Because it means that there is change and change brings hope with it, right? Without the change, there is no hope. So it's also exciting. And I think we have to like really lean into the excitement that's behind our fear and call it excitement instead of fear. Okay, so what we want to do first, though, is we want to name the fear. Like, what is it that you're afraid of? Are you afraid people are going to judge you? Are you afraid people are going to not like your product? Are you afraid they're going to compare you to other people? What is the fear? We're also afraid of wasting time. I know I'm guilty of this. Afraid that all my efforts will be in vain or that I'll be going down the wrong road only to turn around and have to reroute, which I've done so many times with so many creative projects. And that's okay too, right? Because every time we do that, we're learning and it's information down every single road. Like, well, that wasn't what I wanted. That wasn't what I wanted. This is what I want, right? So it's all informing. And we also have fears that we're just not good enough. I mean, how many of us just feel that way, right? When I was starting out years ago, it was, I want to say maybe like 10 years, I don't even know. It was a long time ago, but there had been a long season where I wasn't making music, playing. I didn't pick up my guitar for a long time, probably 7 to 10 years of no music making. And I remember this was like, I was just getting back into it and I booked my first show, my first gig with bandmates that I barely knew. We practiced maybe one time. Don't do this at home. But I booked this gig and it was in the basement of a winery and it was super vibey and all my friends came and it was packed and I was so terrified, you guys. Like getting up in the microphone and saying, I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, here are my songs. And I really was the only one that knew them. My bandmates, bless their souls, they did the best they could, but it was all new stuff and we hadn't practiced very much. So I was really afraid that like the performance would flop, but afraid to call myself an artist, afraid to step into that, right? And I'm even afraid to record these videos. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a, content creator professional. I just want to share what I know, what I've learned over decades of creating. And so what? So what if, the videos aren't perfect or, I don't have like cool emojis everywhere. Like, who cares? So people judge. So people will say stuff. It's fine. It's fine. I think when you do it enough times, you realize that the consequences of creating something that's like kind of mid, it's okay. You're just starting out. I'm just starting out, like making content that I think is important to share. And being kind to yourself and being like, it's okay. This is a rinse and repeat formula. I'm going to follow the system. And the fear is the only thing, I want you to remember this. Fear is the only thing that gets smaller as you get closer to it, right? Remember that. The fear is not going to go away, but it will get smaller. So what we want to do is we want to name the fear and we want to accept that it's coming with us. So whatever you're doing, just accept that the fear is going to be right next to you. Like I have a little rock in my bag that I take with me and it's my fear rock. It like reminds me that there's fear coming with me no matter what I do. So I kind of treat it like it's a little buddy that's in my pocket with me everywhere. And what we can do is shrink the task down. So it can sometimes feel overwhelming and very scary to tackle something huge. But if you just break it down into small pieces, small chunks, I'm going to record one video. I'm going to write one chapter of that book. I'm going to write one verse of that song. I'm going to spend 10 minutes, on a chord progression and take the pressure off to have that perfection. Perfectionism is truly the thief of creativity. So allowing that fear to be there and recognizing that fear is not the stop sign, right? It's the arrow that's pointing the direction you need to go. And this is sometimes really difficult to absorb because it's so informative of the next step we need to take. Leaning into the things that are really scary, we will distract ourselves doing every other thing, right? Like, oh, I know I need to take care of this. I got to answer this one email. I got to run this errand, avoiding the scary thing that we really actually need to do. And it's the thing that will move the needle the most for us, right? So try doing the scary thing first. Okay. Your assignment right now, what I want you to do is pick something small that you can carry with you, like a rock or a whatever, a pen and wrap a little label on it. And I want you to name it. Name it your fear, like fearful Francis or scared Sam or whatever. and keep it with you so that when you are out and about or you're whatever you're doing, you can remember that fear's not going away. It's going to be with you and you're going to do it anyway because you're brave and because you respect yourself. This is doing things that are scary and hard builds so much self-respect. And that is what we're doing as creatives is building in the respect that we deserve to have in our creations, right? It's respecting what's coming through. And then I want you to let me know how it went for you. Like, how is it going for you to recognize that it's going to be with you no matter what you do? So you might as well trudge on and do the thing that you want to do, right? If this resonates with you, please hit the subscribe button and the bell. And if you want to work with me, that information is in the comments, in the description below. And just remember that you are not behind. You are right on time. I'll see you in the next video.